Welcome to the show, guys. Joseph Robert Camo, the fantasy football counselor. Got an exciting one here for you. We're talking fantasy football sleepers. I'm going to walk through every single team and give you a sleeper from each team. Going to deep dive into the depth charts and dig out a fantasy football sleeper for you. So there's a lot of gems here, a lot of value in this episode, guys, that goes up and beyond, well above, beyond, and light years beyond the consensus that gets cheapest rankings, which everyone else is delivering. So, guys, this is an exciting episode. I'm telling you guys, sleeper from each NFL team. Again, there's some deep sleepers here. I'm going to handpick one from each team. And again, there's a ton of sleepers this year, especially at that wide receiver position. There's a couple good running back sleepers. I'm not going to divulge all of the information, but you're going to get some really solid gems and some sleepers in this episode. I'm excited to give that value to you guys, all right? Very, very excited. Now, before we get in this show, guys, make sure you head on over to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com, get the 16-round draft solution, and use code TUBE20. Save yourself 20%. Guys, this is the game changer. Draft kits are dead. Cheat sheets, all that crap that comes out that's copied and pasted from last year, the consensus. Every other podcast is lying to you. I've said it. Pretty much they are. Now, there's no guarantees with fantasy, but I will tell you this. They're playing it safe, and that's not how you win fantasy leagues. How you win is getting the optimal players in each round, omitting the bad players, and dominating your league by thinking outside the box and straying away from the consensus. That's what you do in the 16-round draft solution. So make sure you guys get it. I've linked it below here on the YouTube channel. Head on over to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com or simply just Google 16 rounds. All right, guys? You will crush your leagues. All right, get it. Use code TUBE20. All right, now I'm starting to do this like story time with the counselor now at the beginning of every show. And lately in the news, I just saw the breaking news that I want to talk a little bit about Naji Harris. I understand he's like overweight right now. He's 244 pounds. Now, I was reading that Jerome Bennis, if you guys remember, the Steelers running back, in his second year was around 243 pounds. Big guy, right? So there is some concern. Naji tweeted back out saying, don't be concerned about my weight going into the season. I'm not really concerned. Now, there's a bunch of videos with him, especially his live. I don't even know if it's out now. I think he was just on his live and he deleted it. He's out in Mexico drinking, came back. He's got a drink in his hand. He's, at a baseball game drinking. And there's another video on Antonio Brown story mode. First of all, he's hanging out with Antonio Brown. I don't think that's a very good thing, but he's with Antonio Brown having a drink again. So maybe it's a lot of this alcohol, drinking, binging, eating. It is a little off season, right? I see him getting back into shape, but at the end of the day, if he puts on muscle, that's okay, right? But if he puts on a lot more fat, it's going to be a bit of an issue. So again, I'm not really concerned about him at all this year. I think he still has himself a good season. And again, the weight thing, he's addressed. He says, basically, don't worry about it. And this is only going to probably help him if he becomes more of a workhorse running back. It may slow him down a little bit with a top-end speed. But again, I'm still happy about him. I'm not really concerned about Naji Harris right now. He's going to get the workload. He's going to still be solid. So I just had to talk about that a little bit. A lot of news buzzing because there's not much to talk about right now other than that. And, I'm not really concerned right now, okay, at all. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about a sleeper on each team, starting with Arizona, going from A to Z, all right, or W in this case, Washington football team or Commanders or whatever the hell they want to call themselves right now, which I'm not touching any player from Washington, but we'll discuss some sleepers, all right? And there's a lot of rookie fantasy football sleepers here in this episode as well. So let's talk about it. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals here, the sleeper on this team, and again, it's all based on ADP. I'm not going to go into where, some of them I'll kind of discuss where they're ranked, but some of these guys are being slept on. They're really good value, right? So Kyler Murray, obviously very expensive. James Conner, relatively expensive because he's very touchdown dependent, had a good year last year. But the sleeper on this team, I would say, and he's still pretty good value. You could, again, I'm torn on this. I'm going to be torn on a bunch of these teams. Again, I didn't prep this show before. I just know who the sleepers are on each team, but when I look at him, I'm like, hey, that guy could be a sleeper as well. I'm going to go here. I still think he's a bit of a sleeper, is Marquise Brown. I still think he's pretty good value in drafts, so he's my sleeper there on the Cardinals, especially with Hopkins going to be missing a couple games here at the beginning of the season, so I think he's going to get a good boost at the beginning of the season. Am I drafting him? Probably not, all right? Atlanta Falcons, there's a couple sleepers here. I'm not going to divulge all the information, but I really love Drake London. I think he's a wide receiver sleeper that everybody's sleeping on. And this is the only one I'm going to give you two for, okay? Because there's two sleepers. They're jumping right at me. They're screaming at me. and I want to be on record for saying this, guys, Tyler Algiere, big-time running back sleeper this year, and Drake London. Both these guys could both finish top 10, top 15 at their respective positions. Algiere in a prime position to succeed. There's no one else there. There's Damian Williams. Patterson is pretty much a wide receiver. So Algiere, Drake London, love these guys. Everyone's sleeping on them. I gave you a bonus on this one because I want to go on record that I love these two players, okay? And the value is immense in drafts, all right? Ravens, not really touching anybody here, but Rashad Bateman, big-time sleeper there. Buffalo Bills, I think Gabriel Davis is a sleeper. He shined last year in the playoffs. I look at him as a sleeper. Again, there's more than one sleeper on these teams, guys. So don't say that, well, you didn't tell me that guy. All right, guys, stick with me here. In 16 rounds, I go over all this. So I'm giving you guys a sleeper from each team. Carolina Panthers here. I'm probably not touching this offense at all. Christian McCaffrey's way too expensive. You could make a debate that, Robbie Anderson's a sleeper, but I'm probably not touching him, okay? Not exciting. The Bears, I'm going to go here with Darnell Mooney being a sleeper. Love the value for him this year. Absolutely love him. Bengals, I'm not really seeing a sleeper that jumps out at me, but I did recommend a sleeper from each team. If I had to go sleeper here, I'm going to go Samaje Perine, simply because Mixon has shown he's gotten hurt before. Samaje Perine, I used to call him when I first saw his name. Or isn't it Samaje Perine? Yeah, it is Samaje Perine. I call him Samaje Perine. That's the way it goes, right? When I first saw his name, actually, it's Samaje Perine. But then they're telling me it's Samaje Perine. Like, Perine is P-E-E-R-H-I-N-E, not P-E-R-I-N-E. P-E-R-I-N-E. That's Perine. Anyway, I'm not drafting him anyway. None of this matters, okay? But the point I'm trying to make is there isn't much of a sleeper here. If I had to go, it's Samaje Perine. Let's go here with the Cleveland Browns. Got to go here with, you could make a debate on David Bell stepping up, Amari Cooper a little older. Deshaun Watson could be suspended for the first half, couple games. Who knows, right? There's another allegation recently with Deshaun Watson. A 23rd woman came out with an allegation here with inappropriateness through massages. I don't know all the details. I'm not the judge, jury, or prosecutor here, but I will tell you, he's going to miss some time. That's what I'm feeling here, and that's going to affect some of this offense, obviously. But I will make a debate that rookie David Bell is the sleeper on this team and immense value later in rounds, all right? Even Cooper's a sleeper, but we're not going to talk about that. One per team. I'm trying to limit myself. I want to dive into all this. And again, if you want to know where to draft these guys, which round, and have that optimal roster, get 16 rounds, guys, use code TUBE20. It will put you light years ahead of the competition. I guarantee it, all right? Dallas Cowboys here, sleeper. I got to go here. I think Dalton Schultz is a great value at tight end. Love the ceiling, love the upside, and a lot more volume available with Amari Cooper being gone. Love Dalton Schultz. Denver Broncos here, sleeper. I got to go here. There's a ton of sleepers here I won't dive into, but Cortland Sutton, wide receiver 1 on that team, sleeper. Now, we found out Jerry Jeudy, apparently the charges are being dropped on him, so he should be good to go. May face a suspension, not sure. But Cortland Sutton, big-time sleeper. And you could say Jerry Jeudy. Detroit Lions here. I'm probably going to stay away from the Detroit Lions completely. Amon-Ra St. Brown I do like, but I'm going to go with him. He's still a sleeper. Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though he had a pretty good campaign last year, a bit of a sleeper. Packers, Christian Watson is my sleeper here. Absolutely love him. There's a couple other guys I love, won't dive into it. But Christian Watson jumps out at me as a guy who's a plug-and-play, could be a wide receiver 1 on that offense. Texans, Dameon Pierce, big-time running back sleeper. Target him and stash him on your rosters. Indianapolis Colts, love Alec Pierce. I keep saying Alex. Alec Pierce sitting at 101 on the consensus rankings. Alec Pierce, guys, big-time sleeper there for the Indianapolis Colts. We got Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, I like this guy. I've been talking about him. Listen, Trevor Lawrence was a guy that was the number 1 draft pick in 2021. He's got to step up this year. He's got Travis Etienne back this year. James Robinson should be healthy off that Achilles injury, hopefully. But the guy I'm liking is Christian Kirk. You're getting a wide receiver 1 for absolute value later in drafts. He's a big-time sleeper for me. Chiefs, I'm going to go here with Sky Moore. Love the upside. Not sold on Juju or either him or MVS, Marquise Valdez-Scantling. They're not that great. They've got Mecole Hardman there as well. I like Sky Moore as the guy to emerge there, but who knows? With them spreading the ball around, very, very tough. But there's 159 targets freed up with Tyreek Hill being gone, so it's very appealing to see some sleepers there, right? Other sleepers, let's keep diving into this. Chargers, I'm going to go here with Isaiah Spiller. Now, Austin Eckler had 12 rushing touchdowns last year. I think that definitely goes down this year. I mean, if you look at Austin Eckler's career 3 or 4 years prior to last year, I don't know how many he played, 3 or 4, but either way, I think he played like 4 years. I think he's going to his fifth year. Either way, his combined rushing touchdowns were 9, okay? This past last year, he had 12 rushing touchdowns. Not going to happen. Spiller's going to be there. They're going to use him in the goal line. They're going to preserve Eckler a little bit more. I think Spiller becomes a factor. You know, Joshua Kelly, Larry Roundtree did not get it done last year. Maybe Spiller is a little better than them. Either way, I think he'll be a thorn in the side of Eckler. Look for him to hoard some goal line work away from Austin Eckler this year, and a big-time sleeper, Isaiah Spiller. Rams, in here, I'm going to say that, you know, there isn't a sleeper that jumps out at me, but Matt Stafford's pretty good value at quarterback, okay? I mean, he's got some decent weapons there with Robinson and Cooper Kupp. Everyone's drafting Cooper Kupp pretty high. Stafford's, you know, if you're high on Cooper Kupp, why not get Stafford, right? Vegas Raiders here. I mean, I think everyone's overvalued here, if you ask me. You know, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, expensive. You know, they've got rookie Zamir White coming in. They've got Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, a bit of a committee. I would say if Jacobs gets his crap together, I think that he could be a sleeper. I still think he's good value for an RB1, but it is a bit of a committee there, kind of a gross-looking committee. Too many people for fantasy, all right? Miami Dolphins. You know, here's the deal. I'm probably staying away from this entire offense. If I'm going to go sleeper, I'm going to go with Mike Gesicki here as a sleeper for the Dolphins. But again, when you look at this offense, I don't think there'll be enough volume to go around to make everybody amazing. I think Tyreek Hill's very overrated. Jalen Waddle overpriced, sitting 13th on the consensus rankings as a wide receiver 2, and there's wide receiver 1 sitting behind him. Overrated Jalen Waddle. There's no sleepers that are jumping out at me here at all. Miami Dolphins, overrated, overinflated, and Tua, very suspect at quarterback. Minnesota Vikings here. I'm going to go with Thielen here as a sleeper. Love the value I get him for. You're getting a possible wide receiver 1 in the 5th round. That's a no-brainer to me. I'm stealing him whenever I can. New England Patriots, a ton of sleepers here, although I don't really trust this offense. I think the best sleeper here, you could make a debate for the running backs with Damian Harris and Rondé Moore Stevenson, but I think Mac Jones as a quarterback is a sleeper. I think he'll be efficient. I think he gets the work done. I think he'd be a good backup quarterback with top 10 upside if he gets connecting with Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, and that offense starts gelling. We got ourselves an efficient fantasy quarterback in Mac Jones, going undrafted in a lot of leagues right now. Saints here. Now, I'm going to go with Chris Olave. I call him Chris Olave. But Chris Olave, yeah, like Olave, like the snowman and Frozen. Chris Olave, I think the value is there. The talent is there. Very polished route runner. Great hands. Creates great separation. Watch tape on him. He is one of arguably the best wide receivers out of this NFL draft class. Talent-wise, there is a problem. It's called a Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas. I don't trust Jameis Winston. Bit of a problem there, and especially Alvin Kamara there, catching the ball in the backfield. May face a suspension, not sure. He had some off-field issues as well. Similar to, you know, Deshaun Watson and some other players that, you know, a suspension might loom prior to going to the season. But, you know, Michael Thomas, he's kind of gone down over the past couple of years. He could take a step up. But Chris Olave, like the value there. Giants, oh, my God. Saquon Barkley's a sleeper, sitting 19th on the Consensus rankings. Unbelievable value. You're getting an RB1, top 5 finisher this year. Volume, improved O-line, talent, contract year. I'm all over Saquon Barkley. Jets, I'm going to go here with a sleeper. Now, again, this is a suspect offense. I don't trust this offense at all. Michael Carter last year, 147 attempts. They're bringing Breece Hall, who, again, you could make an argument as a sleeper. Is coming off 3rd, 4th round. But again, I don't see a sleeper that jumps out at me. You could make a debate for Elijah Moore, but Garrett Wilson was drafted really high by the Jets. He could become the wide receiver 1. I'm going to say Elijah Moore is a sleeper on this team just simply because he's still value, could still continue to be the wide receiver 1 there, even with Garrett Wilson making an approach. Depends on who Zach Wilson will gravitate to, and that rapport is probably already built up with Elijah Moore. Eagles. I'm staying away from this entire team. I'm going to say Dallas Goedert if I had to choose as a sleeper. I'm not sold on A.J. Brown. This whole offense is, a little overrated for me. All right. Steelers, I'm going to go here with, everyone's expensive. I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth as the tight end sleeper on this team. Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker. I think he could step up. Chris Carson coming off that neck surgery. Is he going to be 100%? I don't think so. He's older. He's washed up. Rashad Penny just sucks. It's not a guy. If Rashad Penny was great, they wouldn't have even drafted Kenneth Walker, a guy that could step up and be at least a 2-down back in this bit of a committee here. Penny's going to come in on certain downs. I think if Kenneth Walker wants this, he could take it, all right? So I've got him as a sleeper here. 49ers, again, I'm staying away from this entire team. I love George Kittle. I still want to pay a second or third round pick for him. Trey Lance could be a guy that could be a sleeper this year, but I'm probably fading him. Tons of depth at quarterback. Tampa Bay Buccaneers sleeper. I mean, this is a tough one as well. There isn't somebody here that's sleeper. I think Brady's value, but there isn't a sleeper that jumps out at me. So many people high on Russell Gage. How could you be? I mean, you've got Cameron Brate there. You've got Mike Evans. You've got Chris Godwin. You've got Leonard Fournette. They drafted Rashad White. Brady spreads the ball around. Everyone's high on Russell Gage. He's a wide receiver 3 on his team. Aim high on the depth chart. That's how you guys win your leagues. Tennessee Titans, sleeper here. I'm definitely going Treylon Burks, who slides into the wide receiver 1 position. Robert Woods can be safe and steady. I know Tannehill doesn't throw the ball a lot, but Treylon Burks is a guy that I absolutely love at the wide receiver position. It's a big-time sleeper, all right? And then when you're talking the Commanders, I'm just going to fade this team completely. If you want to make a debate for a sleeper, you got to take a look at Jahan Dotson, rookie wide receiver there, in behind Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, all the other guys. Just not that good, okay? They've got Logan Thomas there, but again, Carson Wentz, I'm not excited about this offense at all, okay? At all. So I'm fading him completely, all right? Ton of value here, guys. I just gave you a bunch of hidden gems, all right? You can stash these guys. Ton of free content here for you. But if you guys want to support my channel, it means a lot to me. Subscribe, thumbs up, and get the 16-round draft solution. That's how I make a living, guys, giving the best possible advice. I leave my heart and soul into it for you guys so you guys win your leagues. Get 16 rounds. Use code TUBE20. And, of course, guys, subscribe. Drop in the comments which sleeper do you really like this year. Love to get your feedback here. All right, guys? Ton of value here. Gave you guys a lot of information, guys. Subscribe, thumbs up, leave a 5-star rating review. Helps a lot. We will talk soon. I'm out.